Every time the Lakers' future gets discussed, I can't help but keep coming back to the same name. It's not just because he's talented, but because he feels like the missing piece that could truly elevate this roster. Miles Bridges is the player I keep trying to manifest into existence for Los Angeles. And I mean that in the most serious way possible. When you look at the Lakers' needs, it's clear they are searching for a real game changer. Someone who can consistently produce and carry the team when needed. Sure, they probably need multiple upgrades. But if we're talking about a single trade target, that could dramatically shift the balance of this team. Bridges stands out as the most realistic ceiling-raising option. Now, I know some people might say, what about other forwards? And yes, there are other names in the conversation, but when you look at the overall fit and value, Bridges is the most compelling. Michael Porter Jr. is another forward that people talk about. But the price tag is a major issue. He's locked into a massive contract that's going to make it difficult to build around him. He's making close to $40 million this season and next, which creates a huge financial burden. Miles Bridges, on the other hand, is far more reasonable. His contract sits in the 20s. And that difference matters when you're trying to construct a championship-caliber roster without destroying your cap flexibility. If you're a Lakers fan, you can probably already picture it. Bridges sliding into the forward spot, giving you that scoring punch and athleticism that the team desperately needs. He's averaging nearly 20 points per game this season, with solid rebounding and playmaking numbers. That kind of production is exactly what the Lakers have been missing, especially in moments where they need someone to create a bucket without relying on LeBron or Anthony Davis. Imagine him on this team, stepping into that role and instantly changing the dynamic of the offense. It's the kind of addition that doesn't just help the team, it redefines what the Lakers can be on any given night. Now, the reason this conversation is getting louder is because there are reports indicating real interest from multiple teams, including the Lakers, according to reports. The Milwaukee Bucks, Los Angeles Clippers, Sacramento Kings, and the Lakers have all shown exploratory trade interest in Bridges. And while it's important to take every report with a grain of salt, the fact that there's consistent chatter about it means something. The Hornets seem open to moving him if the price is right, and that's the key point. The Hornets have a young core, and while Bridges has been a cornerstone for them, they also have to think about their long-term direction. They are building something that could be special, but they are also at a stage where they might need to decide which players fit into that future. And that's where the Lakers could come in. The Hornets are not necessarily in a rush to trade Bridges, but they are also not closed off to the idea. The team has shown improvement and has a real shot at becoming a contender soon. They've got a young roster, and they are likely to be in the draft conversation again this upcoming year. That creates a scenario where they might prefer to open up playing time for their younger players to see who fits and who becomes part of the long-term plan. Bridges is still young, but he's no longer the young kid on the team. He's closer to being the veteran leader. And that's a role the Hornets might not want him to hold anymore. He's nearing 28. And while that's still prime age, it doesn't match the youth movement that Charlotte is trying to cultivate. So, when people say the Hornets would never trade him, you have to remember that the NBA is a business. Teams make decisions based on value and timing, not emotions. If the Lakers come in with the best offer, Charlotte will seriously consider it. And make no mistake, a deal for Bridges would likely cost a first-round pick, but if you're looking at it from the Lakers' perspective, I would make that move. He's 27, turning 28 in March, and he fits perfectly into the Lakers' timeline. The Lakers are in a position where they can offer a competitive package, and the potential payoff is huge. What I love about Bridges compared to other wing options is his size and versatility. People often confuse height with size, but they are not the same thing. Bridges isn't just a tall wing, he's a bigger wing. The difference matters because it changes how he can be used on the court. He can play either forward spot, and that kind of flexibility is priceless. If the Lakers were able to trade their first and even a second-round pick to acquire him, they would still have the ability to make other moves afterward. The way I see it, Bridges would not be a player who needs the ball in his hands every second. He can play off LeBron and Anthony Davis, but he can also create for himself and others when needed, and that's exactly what the Lakers have been missing. When LeBron and Anthony Davis are off the floor, the team struggles to create offense. There's a lack of shot creation and a missing piece who can consistently get a bucket. Austin Reeves has been stepping up, but he's not enough on his own. Bridges would provide that extra scoring punch and would allow the Lakers to rest their stars. Without collapsing offensively, he would be the kind of player who can take over a quarter or two. The guy who can be given the ball and just go to work. That's the type of impact that changes. PLAYOFF series, of course. The biggest concern with Bridges is health. He's had some injuries, and that's always a risk. You'd probably be paying a premium for a player who is not always fully healthy. But if you're looking at the long term, post-LeBron era, Bridges becomes even more valuable. His ability to create shots and play off the ball is exactly what the Lakers will need in the future. And the fact that his contract is still reasonable makes it possible to build around him. You could bring in another star or two and still have the flexibility to make moves. The Lakers roster has some young pieces too. Players like Jared Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, and others could be part of a trade package. And if the Lakers want to preserve cap space for the offseason, they might have to include players like Vanderbilt in the deal. It's not ideal, but it's the reality of building a contender in today's NBA. The key is finding a balance between improving now and keeping options open for the future. Bridges could be the bridge, no pun intended, between the current Lakers and a more sustainable future. When you look at the Hornets' perspective, it actually makes sense for them to consider trading Bridges now. He's at a peak value moment, and the risk of losing him for nothing in the future is real. If they wait too long, they might not get as much in return, especially if the team's trajectory changes or if Bridges' injury history becomes more of a concern. Charlotte might not be a title contender next season, and they might prefer to maximize the return while they can. That's where the Lakers could step in with a strong offer, potentially giving Charlotte the assets they need to continue building. Ultimately, the question becomes what Charlotte really wants. They don't need to dump salary, and they aren't in a position where they are forced to move Bridges. That gives them leverage, but it also means that if the Lakers are serious and willing to offer a high-value package, Charlotte might decide that now is the time to trade him, and if that happens, it could be a move that changes the trajectory of the Lakers for years to come. Now, let's get into the real nitty-gritty of what this trade would mean for the Lakers. Not just in the immediate future, but down the road. Because when you're talking about a player like Miles Bridges, you're not just buying scoring, you're buying versatility, athleticism, and the kind of two-way potential that can reshape the identity of a team. The Lakers have been looking for a forward who can do more than just spot up and shoot. And Bridges fits that mold perfectly. He can defend multiple positions, he can attack closeouts, and he can create mismatches in the half court. That's a rare skill set. And it's exactly what the Lakers need to stay competitive against the elite teams in the West. If the Lakers do land Bridges, the lineup possibilities become much more exciting. You're not just adding another scorer, you're adding a player who can be the third option, or even the second option, depending on the night. That kind of flexibility is huge. Imagine having a lineup where LeBron is still the primary playmaker, Anthony Davis is anchoring the defense and scoring inside, and Bridges is the guy who can stretch the floor and attack closeouts. That's a nightmare for opposing defenses because it forces them to make tough decisions. Do you double LeBron? Do you try to slow down Bridges? Do you commit to defending Davis? You can't do all three effectively, and that opens up lanes for everyone. And the beauty of Bridges is that he's not just a one-dimensional scorer. He can also make plays for others. He's not a true point guard, but he has enough vision and ball handling ability to create opportunities when the defense collapses. That means the Lakers would have an additional creator who can help relieve the pressure on LeBron. You've seen how much the team struggles when LeBron has to do everything. It's not just about fatigue, it's about the fact that defenses know exactly what to expect. They're going to load up on LeBron, double him, and force other players to beat them. Bridges would change that dynamic. He would force teams to respect another playmaker, which opens up the entire offense. Let's also talk about the defensive side. Bridges is not a lockdown defender, but he's a solid defender with the size and athleticism to switch onto multiple positions. He's the kind of player who can guard wings and small forwards, and he can also help protect the paint when needed. The Lakers have had issues with perimeter defense, especially when they go small. Bridges would provide a bigger, more physical presence on the wing, which would make it harder for teams to exploit mismatches. And the fact that he can slide between the 3 and 4 spots gives the Lakers the ability to adjust their defensive schemes more fluidly. You could run a more switchable defense without sacrificing size, which is something the Lakers have been missing. Now, you might be wondering about the logistics of such a trade. the Lakers would likely have to give up significant assets to acquire Bridges. And that includes draft picks and possibly key role players. But when you think about what you're getting in return, it becomes easier to justify. Bridges is the kind of player who can win games on his own. He can go off for 40 points. Or he can quietly produce 20 and 8 without needing the spotlight. That kind of reliability is rare. And it's something the Lakers haven't had consistently outside of their superstar duo, if the Lakers are serious about contending. They need that third piece who can be trusted in the biggest moments. And let's not forget the psychological impact of adding a player like Bridges. The Lakers have been criticized for not having enough depth, especially when injuries hit. If you add Bridges, you're adding a player who can carry the team through stretches where LeBron and Davis need rest. That's not just about wins and losses, it's about the confidence of the entire roster. Players perform differently when they believe the team has multiple reliable scorers. Bridges would provide that confidence. He would be the kind of player who makes others better simply by being on the floor. But there's still the issue of his injury history. And that's something the Lakers would have to carefully consider. Bridges has had some significant injuries, and the Lakers have already seen how much one injury can derail a season. So, the question becomes, is the potential reward worth the risk? In my opinion, yes. Because the Lakers need to take a leap. They've been stuck in this cycle of trying to patch the roster together without making a bold move. Bridges represents a bold move. He's a high upside player with a contract that still makes sense. And if he can stay healthy, he could be the missing link that turns the Lakers into a true contender. Now, let's talk about what this would mean for the Lakers' long-term plan. The truth is, the Lakers are at a crossroads. They are still in championship mode. But the window isn't going to stay open forever. LeBron isn't getting any younger, and Anthony Davis has a history of injuries. So, the Lakers need to think about the future while still trying to win now. Bridges fits that balance perfectly. He's young enough to be part of the next era, but he's also ready to contribute immediately. That's the ideal combination for a team like the Lakers. You want a player who can help you win now, but who also has enough years left to be part of the long-term plan. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on. Rumors are beginning to circulate around the league, suggesting that Bam Adebayo could be on the verge of becoming the newest piece in the Los Angeles Lakers' ever-evolving puzzle. While nothing has been confirmed and official silence remains the dominant sound from both camps, league insiders and rival executives are quietly connecting the dots and wondering if a major shift is unfolding behind the scenes. The idea of Adebayo in a Lakers uniform instantly sparks imagination. Known for his defensive versatility, leadership presence, and ability to anchor both ends of the floor, the All-Star center would represent more than just another name added to the roster. His arrival would signal a strategic pivot, emphasizing mobility, toughness, and basketball intelligence in the paint. The Lakers have long been linked to elite big men who can defend multiple positions, and Adebayo fits that profile almost perfectly. Speculation suggests that Los Angeles views him as a long-term stabilizer, someone capable of bridging generations while still competing at the highest level. His passing ability from the high post, combined with his switch-heavy defensive style, could unlock new lineup combinations and reduce pressure on the team's perimeter defenders within league circles. There is quiet admiration for how seamlessly his game could translate to the bright lights and relentless expectations of Hollywood. From the player's perspective, whispers indicate that the appeal of a larger stage and a franchise synonymous with legacy could be difficult to ignore. The Lakers, after all, have a history of transforming elite talents into global icons. Even the suggestion of mutual interest has been enough to send analysts revisiting cap scenarios and hypothetical trade constructions, despite the lack of concrete confirmation. For now, this remains firmly in the realm of speculation, the kind that thrives in late-night conversations among executives and fans alike. Still, if the rumor gains traction, the possibility of Bam Adebayo reinforcing the Lakers could become one of the most intriguing storylines to watch as the league landscape continues to shift. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.